Hi, I'm Rosie. Welcome to my podcast called Yoga Pose. I'm Yoga Pose. My family used to call me Rosie Pose. And I feel like the nickname made me destined to become a yoga teacher. These episodes are a chance for me to share more of myself and my journey, as well as the benefits of yoga and meditation as I see them. So expect stories, sutras, and jokes, because I think I'm pretty funny and laughing is going to help us loosen up. Yoga isn't a game, but there's no reason we can't play. So being playful stops us striving, and we become explorers simply for the pleasure of it. The title of this episode comes from Gabrielle Bernstein's book, The Judgement Detox, which I read earlier in the year. She said, "Judgment is the number one reason we feel blocked and alone." Oh yes, could not agree more. People like to say that they're non-judgmental, but it's not true, is it? You've made a judgment on me to listen to this podcast. If I'd put a spelling mistake on the title, you might have lost some confidence in what I have to say here. And I know that students make judgments all the time on what class to take and where to set up in the studio and the teacher. Like when I get cover for my classes, some of my students won't go. You make a lot of judgments on yourself as well, the words that you speak about yourself. And of course, there are so many judgments being made about other people too. You honestly saying that you'd be happy to sit on a train next to a screaming child? Oh, please, of course you wouldn't. You'll sit somewhere else and send love and light, but from a safer, quieter distance. I bet you've done a detox at some point in your life. Or actually, more than that, I bet you've done a detox this year, like a 30-day cleanse of, carbs, is that a thing? Or dairy or alcohol, whatever. But have you ever done a 30-day or even a 30-minute judgment detox? I've been detoxing now for 30 minutes a day for a few months now, and geez, I'm judgmental. It's a powerful practice, and I like to do it while I'm cycling through the mean streets of Hove, cruising around, having a great time, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, that's a really nice front garden. Yeah, I'd love to grow wisteria around my door like that. And it's still a judgment, even though they're nice ones. When I notice what I'm doing cycling around, I see it as a chance to go back to just observing my surroundings and not making judgments. This dedicated practice, therefore, has helped bring some awareness to my day-to-day life. And I caught myself when I was putting the recycling out this week. I glanced at a neighbour's box and they had quite a lot of beer bottles. And oh my God, the other side, no exaggeration, had like 20 Pepsi bottles, the big ones. So what are they, like a litre, 2 litres? I don't know. Either way, it's a lot of fizzy pop. I saw all these things and then I looked down at the box I was holding, just empty jars of sauerkraut and beetroot and kombucha, because I'm on a whole fermented food tips right now. Okay, so I might be nurturing my gut bacteria, cultivating a lovely environment for my microbiome, but it's not a great one for my neighbours, who, regardless of what they consume, have always been really kind. I'm lucky because we all get on well, nice little neighbourly things like taking in parcels for each other and exchanging Christmas cards. One of the kids who lives next door often knocks himself out, so he'll knock on my door and climb over the wall to get home. And they've helped me out too, loads. Like one summer, one of the baby seagulls was nesting on my roof and it fell down onto their extension. I'll compress a 2-hour-long story here, which involved me putting rice cakes into my neighbour's drain in case the bird felt peckish while I worked out what to do, before borrowing a ladder from a guy a few houses down, then realising I'd cause myself a serious injury if I tried to climb up with the baby seagull, made heavier by the rice cakes now. So my plan evolved and I put the bird into a cat box and knocked on my neighbour's door, the beer ones, not the Pepsi, to ask if I could lean out of their bedroom window and put the bird back on their roof. Incredibly, they let me in with this squawking bird in a box. No judgment there. Wonderful people. I took my shoes off before climbing all over their bed to realise that the trajectory of the window meant I wouldn't be able to lean out and return the bird to the roof. So I took the bird to this amazing guy called Roger. He lives in Brighton and hand rears like 100 birds and other wildlife a year. His garage is quite a sight. It is full of seagulls eating dog food. And people like him, in my opinion, are heroes. Yeah, it's a judgment, but he's a hero. And I'll put his charity details in the show notes. And just notice, has some judgment crept in here. I'm talking a lot about the welfare of animals. What about charities for humans? And hold that thought and judgment for just a moment, because it isn't a competition. It's not like I only care about animal charities. And it's not like there's only so much love and compassion to go around. For a moment there, maybe you felt a little separation from me, from what I'm talking about in terms of seagull welfare. I know loads of people hate them. And you felt distance between me and you in that instance. So Gabrielle's right. Judgment is the number one reason we feel sad, blocked, and alone. All of these things, my baby seagull that dropped down, all of these things are entry points into caring, right? So more of my friends are having children and talking about making better choices for the environment now. Small changes like using keep cups for their coffee, stuff like that. Because, they want their child to grow up in a cleaner world, and that's so beautiful. Having a child was what triggered this thought to look up and consider the wider world. So judgment can come in when we feel all high and mighty, like I did with my recycling box versus everyone else's. There I was, feeling all smug. But the same can be said the other way around. So I don't drink alcohol, and I haven't in years. There are many reasons I don't drink, and one is that I like to have a clear head. And I find that the day after drinking, I feel medically fed up. I hate it. I don't judge my friends who like to let their hair down, and I remember how fun it was getting drunk. What I find way more challenging than our drinking culture is people's responses to my decision to abstain. We'll be out celebrating something invariably, and someone will say like, oh, I bet you think you're better than us because you don't drink. You should totally have a drink. You're way more fun when you do. And, they're partially right. I probably am more fun when I drink. But they're wrong in that they think I judge them. I don't. I really don't judge people. I can see my friends having a great time, having some drinks, and that's wonderful. And this, I know, is contrary to my earlier example where I was judging my neighbours with all their beer bottles in the recycling. So the difference, I think, and I've had to reflect on this so I don't sound too much like a hypocrite, is that when I see my friends boozing, I can see they're having a great time. We're out and we're celebrating. When I just see a box of empties, I don't have the full picture. And as I try to thread these loose themes together, I think this is the crux of it. A lack of understanding, and the mind jumps in to fill the blanks. So I'll conclude this episode with sharing the lesson number 243 of A Course in Miracles. And the lesson is, today I will judge nothing that occurs. 7 simple yet profound words. Enjoy. Thank you so much for listening, if indeed you still are. You can visit doyouromthing.co.uk to see my teaching timetable, workshops, and retreats. I would love to connect with you in person. This podcast is about building a community, so keep reaching out to me. Do Your Om Thing is my Instagram handle and Facebook page. Before you go, think about your karma. Okay, you've enjoyed this episode. hopefully as much as I've enjoyed making it for you. So help a yogini out by sharing and leaving a review. I read every single comment and they inspire me so much. I'm not kidding, please leave a review. Don't make me sell out and get sponsorship and do adverts. Thank you so much for listening to Yoga Pose.